Hi, I'm Sharon Ross with the Capital City Arts Initiative. We are at CCAI's gallery in the courthouse, and we are here to interview James Gale with his exhibition Windows to the Soul. So, James, welcome. We're delighted that you're here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well,
Have me talk.
our pleasure. So, this piece, can you talk a little bit about this piece? Most of your pieces are portraits, I believe
Most
all of them are.
yeah.
So, tell us about what it is that intrigues you with portraits.
Well, I like painting people. I like people. I like showing the emotions. And kind of communicating that to the viewer.
That's good. We like that. And this piece is titled Afro-American Dad. Is this a particular person or
It is.
it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a funny story about this one.
Okay, tell us.
Okay. I used to work for the Bay. No, let me think. Bay Area News newspaper. I used to illustrate for them, and this was one of the stories in the newspaper in the living section about how different people from different races travel to other countries where you didn't expect that particular race to go. So he went to China, I think, and there was another Chinese guy that went to Africa. So those were the pieces that they were writing about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got to illustrate it, and he was one of the ones I illustrated. And then after the illustration, I decided to put it into a fine art piece. So I included this whole piece here, which is I got this from a thrift store. It was a door.
The door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I painted African symbols on it. But the funny story was that I had it up in my studio at the time,
Uh-huh.
and there was a class trip to the studio that somebody conducted, and one of the young ladies in the studio, she walked by the picture and her eyes got wide. She said, "Oh, that's my daddy." So I painted her daddy. She didn't know it.
Okay.
That's why I named it the African American Dad.
James, this
Yeah.
painting titled Alexa, you added some different elements to it. So tell us about this painting, please.
Okay. Um, Her name is Alexa Weber Morales, and she's a Latin jazz singer. When I was in Oakland, I was given 3 different grants by the city to do paintings pertaining to music. One was jazz, one was Latin American jazz, and the blues. And so this was part of the Latin American jazz series. And Alexis is a singer, very good singer, very good voice. Um, and like I said, I like to experiment a lot with my work. And on this, I combined the process of wood engraving, burnt wood engraving, and watercolor. On a wood engraving, it was done by a computer, actually. Okay, I did the drawing in Illustrator, the Illustrator program, and I fed this into the computer, and the computer engraved it onto the wood. So that was an interesting process. And I like the combination of the two.
It definitely works. Has she seen the painting?
Oh yeah, good story about that.
Tell us.
Okay, for the Latin American Jazz Series, I sent her piece as like the center of the exhibit, and I invited her to come to the exhibit. I didn't know if she would come, but she came. And she came and she brought her castanets, and she sang and she danced for the reception, and that was a good happening.
James, tell us about the painting, this painting you're next to, John Lee Hooker.
Yeah, John Lee was part of my blues series that I did for the city of Oakland. Because Oakland was the center of the blues around the 1950s, 40s, or 50s, 60s. And they have a rich history of the blues there. And John Lee Hooker he actually died in Oakland. You know, he lived there for a while. But this is a portrait of him, which again, I said I like to experiment with stuff, so I kind of tilted him. And it's sort of like almost like an abstract expressionist type of thing around him. That's the background. Again, with African symbols placed in various places. I use drips and other things.
James, tell us about your background. When did you begin painting?
When did I begin?
Uh-huh.
Oh God, I can't remember. It was so long ago. I began when I was, I guess, kindergarten almost, you know. Of course, I would start with crayons, not paint, but, you know. But I soon graduated to paint, you know. My mother encouraged me a lot, you know. And she got me to watch this art instruction TV program back in the 50s. John Nagy was learning how to draw. I mean, you probably don't remember him, but that was in the old days. But I watched that, and then I graduated to pencil, finally to paint. So I was painting in grade school, you know. And I went to a Catholic grade school. And the nuns noticed that I had talent. And they encouraged me also, you know.
Watercolor is a pretty demanding medium, and you choose to use it with portraits. Beautifully you use it with portraits. So talk about that process.
Well, I've always done portraits. I guess started when I was a kid in school. My parents had a really thick Bible in their home. And I took that and I brought it into my room and tried to copy all the pictures. Of course, they were done by masters like Michelangelo and Leonardo. So I had a good example to paint from. But so that's how I guess I started with portraits. It's like portraits of Jesus, Mary, Mother Mary, and that's what I got in the faces, you know. And,
So when did watercolor come in?
well, watercolor came in grade school and early high school. I painted in oils, mostly. And around early high school, I discovered I was allergic to oils. So I had to switch to another medium, watercolor. That came about by accident.
Well, the watercolor served you well.
It does. I like it. I love it.
How long have you been in Reno?
About 3 years now.
Well, we're delighted you moved to Northern Nevada.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
James, I understand you won an Emmy Award. Tell us about receiving that award.
Okay, back in New York at the time, I was on staff at NBC News as a graphic designer and illustrator. So I illustrated and did graphic designs for the show, the new show, on air. I would do it for stories that they didn't have enough videotape or film for the story. So we got to do illustrations for different stories. For instance, when the Shah of Iran got deposed, they did a story on it, and I put the portrait of the Shah of Iran. So that was interesting. And for that particular year, I was the assistant director of news graphics, and we won the award for the best news graphics on TV for that year. That's how that happened.
Well, the painting you're sitting next to is also should be award-winning. We encouraged you to paint a self-portrait for this exhibition. So
yeah.
Tell us, you said you hadn't done one, so tell us about doing your self-portrait.
Well, you did encourage me. You got me to do it. I did, in fact, have done self-portraits back when I was in college. You know, that was a long time ago. But this is the first one I've done recently. And I don't know how it will turn out, but I enjoyed doing it.
Well, it's a wonderful addition to the show. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, James, the piece that you're sitting next to, Motherland,
Yes.
that's not a specific person, is it?
No, it's not. It was part of a series I did. I did a man and a woman. This is the woman part. And what I wanted to show was, I guess, femininity and the whole concept of, the woman. And down here is the fetus, she's the mother. And my style was different on this one. I deviated from my other work that you see. So this actually is a collage. Okay, it's not just a straight painting. What I did is I made prints of my previous work of women's faces, and I cut them out and I glued them together to make up one face. So that these you see are each of different paintings that I've done in the past.
James, you have some very wonderful jazz greats in this painting. Tell us about this one.
Okay, in this one I wanted to include two iconic jazz greats, Satchmo Louis Armstrong and Lady Day, Billie Holiday. They actually did play together at some point in their lives. But I wanted to put them both together in this painting, just to show the musicality and the greatness of jazz.
One additional part to James' exhibition is the essay that Chris Lanier wrote titled "The Paper Is Not Silent." And you can read it, you can pick up a handout copy in the gallery or read it online at ccainv.org. So James, thank you so much for doing the exhibition and for coming down and doing the video with us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we want to also say thank you to the city, for the courthouse, for the gallery space. The CCAI has 4 galleries in Carson City. In addition to the courthouse, we have an exhibition titled "It Started with Willows" up at WNC's Bristlecone Gallery. We have Jackie P.S. Carlin's Art with Aloha in the Community Center's Kroll Boardroom. And we have coming up very quickly is Photo Finish 2023 by Carson High photography students, and that's in the Brick. You can follow CCAI on our website and on Facebook and Instagram, and sign up on our website to get our monthly e-newsletter. And you can follow also on YouTube, where we have a YouTube channel with all our videos posted. So thank you to our generous funders that keep CCAI moving forward, and thank you for watching.